Uh-oh, Kevin Kelly and the boys are suing AEW. Someone's got to feed the boys. And we talk about AEW All Out this Saturday on pay-per-view.
And I think WWE just had a little bit of a bash in Berlin, and apparently Damian Priest got snubbed. All that and more. This week's episode of Grapple-Sauce. Hit it, Dave.
Hey there, everybody. Daver here, and welcome to the damn show.
And this is Chandler. He's back as well. How we doing, Dave?
We are doing a pretty darn good. We got a AEW pay-per-view coming up, a little bit of news out there to talk about. Some good, some not so good, some kind of bad.
Yeah. I think All Out will be a good show, so I'm not like negative about it. But like, fuck, we had All In, then Bash in Berlin, then All Out. I'm tired. I need a break. No more
Right?
pay-per-views for a week, for a month, 1 month. Let me go. Let me go a little bit in peace.
Shoot. Then we have Wrestle Dream, like almost just a little over a month away too.
What day is Wrestle Dream? Isn't it October 12th?
Yeah.
I think Bad Blood is the day after. So, I'm sure Wrestle
Yep.
Dream will be great, but
Man, we gotta watch wrestling. Oh,
cringe. I want to watch anything else. I want to watch the Minecraft movie trailer on repeat rather than Hangman Adam Page burning a house down.
woo, yeah. Hangman Adam Page is something else, man.
Spoilers for Dynamite. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're not gonna really go over Dynamite too much, except for the main parts. Hangman Page burnt down Swerve's childhood house.
Okada was great. I loved Okada.
Yep, Okada was really good. We got a little taste of Pac and Will Ospreay in that six-man tag. We got a AEW World Tag Team Championship match that nobody asked for.
I did. I want Wheel Yuta to have more titles, okay?
More gold. Uh,
Yeah.
the Great Yuta.
The great Yuta. Anyways, so AEW's getting sued, huh? I had a big laugh about this when I heard about it because it's, you think about wrestling and lawsuits. There's that Janelle Grant one, and not with WWE, more so with Vince McMahon and his cronies. You have the historic CTE one, the steroid trial. So AEW's got one on that level, right?
Yeah, we got former AEW announcer Kevin Kelly and the Tate brothers, formerly known as the Boys, Brandon and Brent. They have filed a lawsuit against AEW, uh, their CEO and owner Tony Khan, and ring announcer Ian Riccaboni. Ooh. Yeah, according to Sports Illustrated, the suit filed on August 30th in the Philadelphia County, Pennsylvania Court of Common Pleas by the plaintiff's attorney, Stephen P. New and Benjamin Bear, say they're looking to void the arbitration clause in their AEW talent contracts, and they also asked the court to certify a class action lawsuit against the wrestling organization by stating AEW is misclassifying the wrestlers as independent contractors instead of employees. Whew, nice try with that. Good luck. Um, yeah, Kevin Kelly, uh, or rather, the attorney says, I am proud to represent Kevin Kelly and the Tate twins in this lawsuit. Is looking forward to them having their day in court and the truth coming out about their situations. Uh, yeah, AEW does not comment on pending litigation, according to AEW spokesperson uh, that talked to the Takedown at Sports Illustrated. Ian Riccaboni hasn't responded for a comment at the time of publication. So yeah, this kind of stems from Ian Riccaboni calling out Kevin Kelly for some weird beliefs. And
Yeah, it was something about like it was kind of like Pizzagate, if you know anything about that, with, like 4chan, QAnon, and all that. And Erika Bonnie kind of made fun of him for it in like a Discord server. And so Kevin Kelly went crazy and uploaded all sorts of weird stuff on Twitter and posted a bunch of crap. I can't remember exactly because this happened months ago. And then AEW is like, we're gonna fire you because you can't really slander Erika Bonnie like for no reason. Like, oh, boo hoo. Like, he said something bad about you in the Discord server. Cool. Is it public? No, nobody knew about it. It's kind of like the CM Punk Hangman Page stuff, where people are like, "Wait, what do you mean he was talking about you getting Colt Cabana fired?" Like, no one knew. No one got
yeah,
that. So that's what it kind of reminded me of. I didn't know who the Tate twins were until you told me. I could have looked it up. I just didn't. So I thought it was like Andrew Tate and his brother for some reason. And I was like, why are they suing AEW? What did they
yeah,
do? I know, like it made no sense. So that's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, I think I watched Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer talk about this, and they were like, these lawsuits come up like once every couple of years. They just always get thrown out. Like WWE gets them, every wrestling company gets them. Like, yeah, should they unionize? Yes. Should they be treated as employees? Yes, but they're not. And that's just how American wrestling has been going on for a while. Should that change? Yes. But a lot of places should unionize. You can't just snap your fingers and make it happen. It takes a lot of time and effort. And there's probably a reason why it hasn't happened. I don't know. So it'll get thrown out. It's not like it doesn't have any standing water. Um
no.
yeah.
Even good old JR on Grilling with JR called it frivolous. So
Yeah.
yeah, they should definitely one day they might be considered employees, benefits packages, the whole 9 yards. But I mean, Tony Khan helps them with like medical bills, and I think he goes above and beyond for like things like that too. Like he helps the families out. I've heard of anecdotal stories about, like when Brody Lee passed away, like he really took care of that family and went above and beyond and does things for people. So I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
WWE kind of does the same thing too, where when Bray Wyatt unfortunately passed, they basically said, okay, any money we make from Bray Wyatt merch in the future goes to JoJo and her family. And then I think CM Punk was talking about it in one of his interviews, but he was like, when I tore my elbow, they paid for the doctor, they got me the doctor, they paid for the physical therapy. So, like, there's two pretty prime examples, at least in recent memory, where they're like, okay, a tragedy has happened or something awful has happened. We're going to cover it because at least WWE is a $1 billion company and AEW is run by a billionaire. So, yeah, that's nice.
yeah. Yeah, the whole independent contractor thing, that's just kind of the way it is. I mean, it's not like the Tate twins didn't know
Yeah.
before they signed. Um, but yeah, I don't foresee that lawsuit getting anywhere. They'll probably settle, like we were talking about, out of court, just so they don't have to drag it out. Tony
Yeah.
Khan will be like, all right, here's something.
As much as I might dunk on Tony Khan, he's a very smart man money wise, especially with like his contracts and stuff. So he might look at it and talk to some very smart legal people and go, we could drag this out and win, but then the legal fees will cost you X amount. Or you can just say, hey, we'll settle for Y, and Y might be less than X. So might as well do that. Like, get them to shut up, give them some money, and then move on.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
funny. We were talking about it. One of the things mentioned in the court by Kevin Kelly was that Kevin Kelly didn't get to announce Sting's last match. Oh, boo hoo. He didn't get to commentate on it. Like,
Yeah.
where? Cry about it. Tony Schiavone needs to be there. Wasn't JR there? And
Mhm.
then Excalibur. Like, Excalibur's the AEW guy. Tony Schiavone because he's great in WCW. And then JR because he's JR. Like, I think that's pretty good right there.
Yeah. Uh, Man, a little side note, like, it blew my mind to learn that JR was in WCW for like years.
Yeah, it was like early WCW, right?
Yeah, and Tony Schiavone did a couple, maybe a couple episodes of whatever WWF show was going on at the time. It's so weird to see him on like a WWF television, and then Jim
Yeah,
Ross on WCW television. It's super
Brian
weird.
Brian Danielson. I just saw a clip of this. Brian Danielson was on Velocity, which was one of like WWE's B show in 2003. He wrestled John Cena.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So
Man, that's
AJ Styles was in WCW. We saw that on the Dynamite drawer. I was like, holy shit, it's AJ Styles.
hmm yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny to see how long these guys or these workers have been in the business and where they go. It's just fun to find out. But you apparently AEW is going to be the second most profitable company in wrestling history. Is that true?
Yeah. Tony Khan did a all-out media call, and he pretty much alluded to the fact that if they get the deal they want, they could possibly be the second most profitable wrestling company in history. He was talking about even being more profitable than WCW,
Which
which,
that maybe. I mean, you'd have to adjust it for inflation, but I could see that.
yeah. So, man, that makes me think a deal has been made. They're just not announcing it
Talking
yet.
about it.
Um,
Yeah, they want to
yeah.
get my Triller money for a couple more months, and then they'll be like, we're on HBO Max." And I'm like, I just wanna watch. I don't want to change my VPN every time. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. It like slows my computer every time I have to do it. But yeah, hopefully we can find out. I did hear in that same media call, he said something like he was on the phone with Jacksonville police or whatever, like wherever they were, all night trying to get Hangman Page out of jail. So even if that's just kayfabe, it was funny. For what he
Oh,
did in the main event of Dynamite, no spoilers. But the only news I have, aside from that small wrestling company running a little house show in Berlin that I'll talk about for a little bit. Damian Priest was apparently, I think all that's known is he was supposed to have a big role in Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever. A lot of people are suspecting Namor because it's just how Damian Priest talks about it. And the whole plot of that movie is it's basically they're not Atlanteans, they're like Aztecs. I've never seen the movie, I've just seen reviews of it. Basically, like Aztecs figured out how to breathe underwater, and I'm not trying to be like stereotypical or anything, but like Damian Priest is Hispanic. He could have easily played that role. He's a big guy. He could have been pretty good in it. But essentially, he went on Chris Van Fleet and they did an interview. And Chris Van Fleet basically said, you can watch the interview, it's a pretty good one. So you had a role in Black Panther Forever, but it fell apart. What happened? And the way Damian Priest put it was basically it got taken away from me, but not from Marvel. And like
mhm.
looking at the time and what Damian Priest was doing at the time it would have been filming, he was just on a house show loop in the Midwest. So old Vince was like, "Nah, we need you for those house shows, brother."
Yep. And now Vince is gone, so all for naught.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Um, the only positive thing I can see coming out of this is you can speculate. It's baseless, but you can speculate that maybe if he had done a big movie role and if he had knocked it out of the park, Hollywood would have wanted him for more acting stuff. He would not have had the run he's had like in the last year, potentially. But you could also say because he's had such a big role, that would push him up the card more. I don't know. This is just kind of baseless speculation, but it wasn't until recently that I realized how awesome Damian Priest was. And I'll get into that with Bash in Berlin, baby, because he was there. But before we get into that, do you have any isn't that crazy that they're just like, nah, you can't do it? Apparently they did the same thing with Mercedes and the Mandalorian, but I thought she actually was on the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I
Like
thought she
maybe
was.
maybe she just had a bigger role initially, and they were like, "Nah, we're not going to do that." So it's crazy how they would like, why? Why would you do that? Let your wrestlers do stuff. I know they're terrified of The Rock and Cena and Batista leaving them for the big Hollywood bucks, but you still got plenty of people. Like the WWE roster is incredibly healthy right now. You could lose a Damian Priest for 6 months for acting. AEW's been without Samoa Joe for a couple months. I miss him to death, but it's not like AEW's gone to shit because Samoa Joe's not there. I just miss him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of have a funny feeling he'll be popping up before too long.
I hope
Maybe he'll
so.
maybe he'll even have a match at Wrestle Dream.
God, I hope. Anyways, Bash in Berlin was pretty solid. Watching Dynamite and like the AEW pay-per-views, I kind of get desensitized to AEW's wrestling. Like it's still great and I still loved All In, but at least with the Dynamites, it's like, oh, it's another six-man tag match. Like, I'm sure it's gonna be good, but I see this every week. Whereas it was just a lot of fun to watch Bash in Berlin. We had Cody and KO start the show. It was just a nice, solid match. It's one of those shows where the matches wouldn't be fantastic in a like typical American crowd, but because it was the crazy European like crowd that hasn't gone to pay per view in however long, it just made every move matter, every match insane. So it definitely helped every single match on the card. I quite liked the first match, and then it was the women's tag team match. I was kind of surprised Jade and Bianca got them back in kind of like standard fashion. Which is funny because at Clash of the Castle in Scotland, the Witches, who are Scottish, they won the titles, and Triple H in the media scrum was like, it wasn't just because of the location. We got a plan. And the reports from people who actually watch Raw and SmackDown have said they have not lived up to that promise, and they have not like basically they've been on TV but haven't had like a role or a story or anything. So it's kind of like, oh well, that was a lie. You didn't have. There wasn't a plan. Um, and then, but it was a fine match. It wasn't bad. I can't remember anything from it though. And then it was the CM Punk Drew McIntyre strap match. I loved it. I thought it was really good. Um, I think I was like kind of complaining, like, boo hoo, it's the crappy WWE strap match, but they still had a really good match. He got the bracelet back, Dave. I know you're concerned about that. He got the bracelet back. Cinema is back. But don't
They're
worry on Raw.
treating they're
What?
treating that thing more prestigious than like a championship title.
Don't worry. Drew destroyed it on Raw, so hopefully we can just leave it. Like that's it. We're done. Please, please, no more bracelet. I was
I d-
fine with it at best. I just was like, I want to enjoy the match, and the match was good. The ending was really good because essentially how you win is you have to touch all four corners without being impeded by your rival. And so CM Punk hit two of them, and then Drew kind of stirred, so hit him with a GTS, hit the third one, and then Punk hit him with another GTS, and then hit the fourth one. I thought it was a fun win. Um, I think CM Punk beat the washed allegations, if I'm being honest with you, but it wasn't an all timer. I just thought it was a lot of fun. And then it was, this next one might have been match of the night. It was the tag team match with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan and Dom. This was just nonsense, but it was so much fun. I can't even remember anything that happened because I was just like, oh man, this is so stupid. I love it. But it was a really fun match. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley won, which I was kind of surprised. And then Damian Priest and Jey Uso won on Raw against the Judgment Day. So the Judgment Day are just kind of like washed. Um, so there's that. And then it was Gunther and Randy Orton. It was a very slow match, but it was still like well worked. I liked the story of it where like I haven't seen this technical of a Randy Orton match before where he just started working over Gunther's arm, and every time Gunther went for a chop or a power bomb, he sold it and couldn't do it properly. And then when he finally got the big power bomb, it was crazy, and it ended in Randy Orton passing out to the sleeper. So pretty solid show all around. I think it ended with Randy Orton shaking Gunther's hand, which is something he's never done before. So all in all, like a nice solid 80%. Like nothing crazy, but nothing bad. It was just a fun show.
how many matches? 5? What? I
That
can't even
that's the typical
imagine.
That's the typical WWE PLE.
I can't even imagine. Like, okay, wow. I'm used to like 13 or 14.
Well, there's nothing on the pre-show. It's only 3 hours, and there's a lot more ads. Like I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
AEW has any ads on their pay-per-views. There's evidently like good things and bad things about WWE's PLEs and AEW's pay-per-views. Um, the only thing I wish there was another match typically, and I wish there was less ads. But they say how they get away with that is they put more on the SmackDown before and the Raw after to kind of bump them up. But I don't watch those. But yeah,
gotcha.
I would recommend it if you're a big if you love WWE style. But this is a mostly AEW podcast, so if you're not interested, then you probably wouldn't like it because it's not like there was a barn burner 10 out of 10 match, and one of the best matches on the show had CM Punk in it. So you might be like, and it still featured that stupid bracelet. But whatever. Let's talk about
Yeah.
Dynamite, right? Ooh,
Yeah, they started off the show with Garcia calling out MJF, like how he made fun of him trying to get a hair transplant that didn't work, and
yeah, and
his
Turkey. That's like the big joke on Twitter is whatever. Like MJF will respond to a lot of people it's just a dumb idea because he thinks he can dunk on them. But the Twitter people, they're often because they don't do anything but sit on Twitter all day. They're better at clapbacks, and so I've seen hair transplant failure in Turkey like 50 times, and he just never responds to it. But finally, it was nice to see someone bring it up on TV. And then the makeup for his acne and the fake tan. I thought that was all funny. So good. I thought this was a really good Danny Garcia promo.
yeah, yeah, MJF started bringing up Garcia's mother, uh,
Ooh.
and Garcia was not having it. He chased down MJF up in the crowd, took out the security, but MJF got him in the head with a champagne bottle, cradled his little head, and cut a promo on him. So uh, I loved it up until that. Like I was like, man, you guys have sold me on this match better than MJF Osprey. Like all of a sudden. But it didn't ruin it for me. The unconscious Danny Garcia laying there getting cradled. MJF
Yeah.
licked the blood and stuff, and
I think
that was
what bogged down the Osprey feud was it was like, oh, you're a redcoat terrorist. The UK smells. Like it was just all that nonsense that no one likes. Whereas this, it's like there's some actual history. I really liked Daniel Garcia's line where he was like, if you can never find a girl who loves enough to like have a kid with you and you hold up your baby and you feel that twinge in your neck and your kid asks, were you a wrestler? And he says, yeah, I was. And that was because of me. Oh, that was a pretty good line. And then that MJF line, was that a reference to Daniel Garcia's dad being dead and his mom having to care for her? Or was that a your mom sex joke?
I think it was your mom's sex joke.
I hoped it was better because I think Daniel Garcia's dad is passed, so I was
Yeah.
hoping that was like, ooh, deep cut. If you know, you know. But oh, it's just
I
your
don't know. It
mother's
could
a
be.
whore.
It
Zing.
could be. Yeah. Let's see. We got a really cool conglomeration promo. Will Ospreay joined them for the evening. Uh, got Kyle O'Reilly acting out the phone call from Mark Briscoe. So good, man. So good. That team, good God, unbelievable. Yeah, we had that match, Osprey, Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly versus Pac and Claudio and the Great Wheeler Yuta. Um, my takeaway from that is, man, I can't wait for Pac versus Will Ospreay
Yeah,
at this pay per view. They just gave us a little tease, just enough to be like, "Ooh, this is gonna be good."
I think Pac
Uh,
was kind of facing it up going into All In, but in this build for Osprey, he's definitely been more of a heel, and I think that's a much more interesting Pac because he's like you're not. It's like when MJF was a face, and we all called him scumbag endearingly. Now I want to call you a scumbag and have you earn it. I want to call you a bastard and have you earn it. Pax felt like a bastard, not a bitch, a bastard. So
yep.
I quite liked that. I thought Will Ospreay was quote funny and silly in the conglomeration promo. I liked how he was like, ah! Like I want him to team up with them. I don't think he needs to join it, but I wouldn't be against it. The only thing is, and it's funny I'm saying this, you do need to like preserve Osprey's role in the upper mid card or the mid card or upper mid card to up like top card somewhat. And I think putting him in the conglomeration would bring him down, which isn't bad because he could shine some light on some people that aren't always featured. But I don't know. Like I like him in the conglomeration, but it's definitely beneath him as much as I love the conglomeration. But on the other hand, I like this a lot more than the MJF feud. So I'll take it.
Did you catch Brian Danielson like talking about Kyle O'Reilly? Like he could have been a great addition to the Blackpool Combat Club.
And someone was like, it's
Uh,
not too late.
yep, yep. I wonder if they're teasing something there. Um, but yeah, Claudio and Wheeler Yuta got the win. Kyle O'Reilly fought back pretty hard before he lost, but then we got the Elite coming out, attacking Danielson and the Blackpool Combat Club, and Claudio challenged the Young Bucks to a AEW World Tag Team title match at All Out, which I wasn't asking for that at all.
Positives. The Young Bucks get to defend their titles again, so that's 3 title defenses in their reign. So people might stop complaining about it so much.
Yep.
I don't know. I couldn't care less about this match. I think it'll be good. It'll be
Yeah.
fun to see what Claudio can do to the Bucks, and then what chicanery the Bucks can do back. But other than that,
Hmm.
I can't say I care. But if we're talking about like, we'll go back to everything else that happened on the show. But if we're talking about the 6-man tag match, I thought it was pretty good. Um, it was kind of just the typical AEW 6-man tag, the popcorn match, as the great Chad would always call it. By the way, he got re-invited to the G1, so that's why he's not here right now.
Hmm.
They think they ran the camera footage back, and Chad's shoulder was up when Zack Sabre Jr. was rolling him up. So they're doing a rematch. So Zack Sabre Jr.
Okay.
might not win the G1.
Ooh.
Anyways, my favorite part about that 6-man tag. Okay, first off, I'll say the first dumb thing. Um, Danielson was like, "Oh, Will Ospreay's the best wrestler I've ever been in the ring with, or the best wrestler, period." Right? And I was like,
Hmm.
"Well, hold on. You've been in the ring with Shane McMahon, and until Ospreay beats Shane, I think you got to give your kudos to Shane O'Mac, baby." And the other thing was, it's like, uh, I was kind of surprised at the finish. It kind of came out of nowhere, and I think Justin Roberts was too, because when he was announcing it, he was like, and the winner is the Blackpool Combat Club and Pack." So it was just kind of like, if you watch it back, he was totally fumbling for the mic, like he didn't think the ending was coming. Oh, I laughed so much. I thought it was so funny.
I didn't catch that. That's pretty funny. Uh, let's see. So that was the almost ending of the show. Let's back up a little bit. We had Mariah May defending her first defense of the AEW Women's World Championship against Nyla Rose. I'm always happy to see Nyla Rose. Like I've got a lot of sentimental feelings about Nyla Rose being in there from the beginning. Really love watching her in action. She's such a tough competitor, violent, brutal, and she really gave Mariah May a run for her money, honestly. Mariah May ended up winning with the Storm Zero, though, uh, and we've still heard nothing from Tony Storm.
I miss Tony Storm. This was a good match, But like, I'm not kidding. I think okay, I think my favorite wrestler in AEW ranking is all shifting and all that. So Takeshita is still number one. Don't worry about that. I think after this episode, Hangman might be two. I'm like, I've been digging him so much. Tony Storm is probably three now. And that's nothing that Swerve has done wrong. I just that Mariah May Tony Storm match spoke to me. And then Hangman's just been so crazy, and like everything he's done has been perfect. Like everything. Even when he loses and I think it's dumb, it makes sense in the end. So I'm oh but this match was good. Obviously nothing bad about it. It was good to see Nyla Rose. I think there's an unofficial rule in AEW. Whenever you have a new women's champion, you have to have Nyla Rose be the first defense. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
Um, and it's I don't know. Mariah May is great. Uh, she did kind of pose for the belt a lot, or pose with the belt a lot. So I was really thinking someone would come out and beat her up and make a match for All Out. But as of right now, there's no Mariah May match set for All Out. And you know why, Dave?
you can't have three women's matches on a pay-per-view.
Can't. It's absurd. You just couldn't do it. There's not enough room. So I know I was like, put Willow and Chris on the main card. Well, that meant that you can't have the big world championship. And you gotta have Monet. You gotta have Monet there. Come on, Dave. We gotta have Monet. Everyone loves Monet. She
Do
had a
we?
segment. She had a segment, and it was the best segment of the night. Remember? I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I loved her awful delivery. I loved her phony. Just I loved all of it. I'm Monet two belts.
Oh,
Bitch.
that yeah, so
Ugh.
clever.
Ugh.
Sayonara.
Um. Sorry. Back to Mariah May. I don't know. I thought it was a fine match, and I just missed Tony Storm, but that's just because she's one of my favorites, and I'm looking forward to when she comes back. But we missed. I think I had a favorite match on the card, and it wasn't the 6-man tag.
Kyle Fletcher Okada,
Oh, that match was so
dude,
good.
dude, Kyle Fletcher, dude. I keep saying this. He is the next Will Ospreay. Like he just keeps bulking up and getting better, and the crowd loves him when he does his spot where he goes up in the stands and they put the spotlight on him, and he just like, dude, unbelievable. Like, I'm such a Kyle Fletcher fan. He is the future. They're gonna have to bump him up in like the upper echelon of the card. Like he takes so many L's though. Like he's like the gatekeeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he might be. I hate saying it like this. He might be like a Daniel Garcia type, where he loses to all the big stars for a while, and I think Daniel Garcia is just about to get out of that. I hope. Um, but there's something not all there with Kyle Fletcher. I would say, like, I don't know his promo. I don't think they're very good yet, but that's not like damning. Like you can be a top of the card guy and not deliver a great promo. But I feel like for me, I haven't really been liking Kyle Fletcher too much. But this was the first match where I was like, damn, I believe everything people have been saying about him. He's fantastic. And it was really fun to see. I love heel Okada so much. So much. I think it was during picture in picture. He was beating Kyle up in the corner, and every time he did an elbow, he'd go, Aussie, 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 and make the crowd go, oi, oi, oi. So he'd be like, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie to Kyle Fletcher. I loved how he won because the whole thing about this Okada gimmick is he cheats just because he can. Like he can outbeat you or out wrestle you, but that would take effort. So as soon as the rest back is turned, oh, a little low blow. Oh, that the Rainmaker won. Oh, I love Okada. But Kyle Fletcher hit a great Okada was going for the Rainmaker, but then Kyle Fletcher countered it to a Michinoku driver, and I was like, "Ooh, damn, okay." So I quite liked this match. I thought it was a ton of fun. Um, I think poor Kyle Fletcher's just going to have to lose a lot of the top guys for a little bit, but he's on TV. You know, it's kind of like what we were saying about Shane Taylor Productions, right? They lose to all the big guys, but they have a good match and they're on TV. So who really loses? It's the guy who's aren't on TV.
Yeah. yeah, with Kyle Fletcher, there's a couple different avenues that I'm exploring here. Like potentially he keeps losing. Don Callis becomes disappointed in him, disillusioned with him, and the Don Callis family jump him, beat his ass. Maybe when Hobbs comes back, that'd be a good time for that. And then Will Ospreay's got to come save him. We got Kyle Fletcher turning babyface. Then we can
I think
get,
he's already face. Just
well,
because
he
he's
was
friends
face last night for
just
sure.
because he's friends with Will Ospreay. Like, you can't be friends with Will Ospreay and be heel. Like,
Yeah,
Ospreay was never friends with Takeshita, and Takeshita's still a heel. He was never friends with Hobbs, and Hobbs is still a heel, even though he's injured. Hey, remember Roosh is in the Don Callis family? Is that only canon in Rampage, or did I dream that?
I don't know. Yeah, he sure didn't come out last night, but that was we'll be getting to that in a second.
But
Uh
who did come out and who did say some naughty words to Okada?
dude,
Was it Don Callis in that ring? Oh, was it Osprey?
no,
It was Takeshita. Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna
Takeshita.
do it? You know what? I get
Oh,
Takeshita versus Mortos on Collision. I will be watching that match, so I'm happy. And no doubt Takeshita will be on All Out. What I'm questioning is because Tony Khan knows I'm going to Wrestle Dream, and Tony Khan knows I've been. Tony Khan's no, I'll threaten to sue him now because that's gonna be my new running joke. If I don't like his booking, I'll sue him. He knows that I would scream for the entirety of Okada versus Takeshita in a singles match. What if they're doing that at Wrestle Dream and Okada retains in the 4-way?
yeah, that's kind of my thing. I think Mark Briscoe's eating that pin, but Takeshita's gonna be built up and he's gonna be facing Okada at Wrestle Dream.
Could you
Dude.
imagine? Could you imagine? That would be the best match of my life. Anyways, let's not get carried away. But holy shit, I hope that happens. And hey, there was this really nice swerve package where he made enough money from his new
Aw,
deal. He bought back his family house. Isn't that nice?
adorable.
I what do you mean it's horrible? It's good for him.
Adorable.
Oh yeah,
Adorable.
adorable. Nothing bad will happen from it. It's really nice to
No.
see men from potentially hard times getting their lives back, and it's a really big thing buying back your family home. Like, man, wouldn't I love to do that? So
That
good
tree
for
that he climbed
yeah, and fell out of. Oh
and
man, what do you?
they had the address right there on the front of the house.
I'm sure that's fine. No one's gonna show up. People respect Swerve. They love him as a wrestler. Everyone loves Swerve.
He
So
hugs
yeah.
Nana for
Oh, it
helping him
was
make the deal.
he called him his best friend. Just a sweet and nice video package that will not have any ramifications later on in the night. Man, what was next? Moxley, right?
Let's see. We got Jamie Hayter versus Robin Renegade.
Oh yeah, we're going so out of order.
Uh, dude, what do you think of Hayter so far, man?
I'd like to see her in not a squash match, but she's good. Like sorry to not be like, whoa, she's the best. Like
Yeah,
she just crushed Robin Renegade. So
yeah, yeah. I kind of thought that too. Like that's kind of the MO of AEW. Like that, I know the rankings don't matter anymore,
they do
but
to me, damn it. It's still real to me, damn it.
when you come back, you got to start at the bottom. Like I do respect that. That's the MO. Like you can't just like WWE, you get immediately you
Unless you're
come back.
Monet.
Yeah. Like in WWE, you come back, you're immediately in a feud with the top star, right? That's just kind of more likely there,
Not
right?
really. Um, so when Punk came back, he was in the Rumble and got injured, but he was in a feud with Drew McIntyre, and that was just a blood feud. Randy Orton, he was put in a 4-way match for the title right after he came back, but
There
AJ
you
Styles
go.
came back at the same time, so maybe. Um, yeah,
You're not
it's a
they're not having squash matches against NXT stars, right?
Mm-mm. No,
Like,
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I think by and large that's not the case, but it's kind of all over. You can look at like Sami Zayn. He just lost at SummerSlam, and he's gonna challenge Gunther at Bad Blood. But and people are gonna call me hypocrites for it, but I don't care. That makes sense because Gunther is a goddamn wonderful wrestler. So is Brian Danielson, but Gunther is an all-time wrestler. He had the longest reign in that IC title history, and Sami Zayn beat him at
yeah,
Mania, and he's like one of four people to pin Gunther in WWE. Four. So that means something, damn it. So him saying, "Oh, I want to fight you again because I'm the last guy to pin you." Wow, that's cool. Jack Perry doing that sucks. You know why? Sami Zayn is a legitimate wrestler who's fantastic, and I can't like even when he's got to work a match with Johnny Knoxville, he knocks it out of the park and has one of the most memorable matches of WrestleMania that year. Jack Perry has been writing off getting choked out by CM Punk for a year. That's his character. I was choked out by CM Punk. He can't say it, but he's like, my career went on a down spiral, and I had to go to Japan and cry about it for 3 months. And then the Elite put me in a match, and I won, and I've only had to defend my title twice since I got it. Wah, wah, wah. I don't care. I'm so glad
uh,
Swerve and Hangman's going to be the main event, so I don't have to sit through a Jack Perry main event. Be like,
yep.
wow, Danielson beat him. I never would have thought.
Oh, you know what? I do have a little bit of news. Did you hear Danielson got a not quite a cease and desist, but hey, you got to stop doing the yes chant letter.
Really? I thought he filed a trademark for it.
He did. It didn't officially go through yet, but they've sent him a letter like you can't use this. But he only made a verbal agreement with Kevin Dunn, who no longer works there. So,
To not do it?
yeah, that was a verbal
Huh.
agreement
Well,
back in 2021.
he's also done it in AEW before this, and it was while Kevin Dunn was working for WWE because it was the MJF Iron Man match. And he did it
Yep.
once, and that was why it's a big deal. But Kevin Dunn was working there, so
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, you can just have the crowd. The crowd does it when he does his kicks. So like
Yep.
he doesn't have to start it, whatever. And you got the money's worth of all in. So
Yeah.
anyways, Moxley, am I right? What's that guy on about?
Let's see. Real quick, we've skipped over Roderick Strong
Fuck!
whining whining about Hook him having his leg on the rope. Christopher Daniels said uh basically you can have a match with him. Hook calls him out for All Out, but he doesn't, or no, for Dynamite that night, but he doesn't want to do it. So we're probably gonna get that match at All Out, right?
Well, now that Chris Jericho, the greatest wrestler of all time, doesn't have the for the world championship, the FTW title can be on that 0 hour. Come on.
Yeah.
That's where
Uh,
it'll be. Cool. I'm sure it'll be fine. I do like Roderick Strong again, and it's weird. Like he changes gimmick all the time now. Now he's back to being silly and wearing the dorky glasses and saying "look," but whatever. Like I like him. I don't really care that much.
yeah. Then we get to John Moxley and Marina Shafir. Dude, the whole package, man, the music, Marina Shafir being a badass, like taking out dude security guards and them coming out to the ring. Like, dude, even though they didn't tell us anything and nothing was resolved, it still is a cool look and a cool feel. He's calling out Darby Allen. He just wants to talk. Uh, he talked about him having a match with him when Darby Allen lived in his car, and him having showing no fear, and yeah, just wants to talk to him. So we'll see if he wants him to join his little faction or have a match with him. I don't know.
Moxie's a full heel when he's giving compliments to Jack Perry. So, what
Oh
does that
yeah,
tell you?
he walks up to Jack Perry and says, "What was it? Uh,
You're a sweet kid.
sweet kid." Ah, love it. Then we get Renee Paquette backstage with the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho.
Hi
Uh,
guys.
Hi guys. Talks about how Orange Cassidy ruined his $7,000 jacket. I love how they actually showed. I thought about you. They showed the actual orange juice incident. That was back when it was pandemic too. That was crazy. Did you see Luther in the background
Was that Luther? I didn't know
with
any of those
with the
goobers in the
thing, the
background.
dot on his head or whatever?
Oh. I
Yeah,
I
it was
thought it was Juice Robinson, to be honest. I was like, what is he doing in there? Um, I have seen that clip before, but I wasn't thinking of it. So I actually did like it that they showed it because that is like
yeah.
4 years ago. And like, does
Mhm.
everyone keep track of shit Jericho did? Like, come on, man. Like, you gotta hook a homie up. You
I
could say like
appreciate
you can say like Hangman Page was world champ and not have to show a package for that because everyone knows about that. But you don't got to do that for that.
I kinda appreciated it.
No, I did. I'm agreeing with you as someone who didn't watch it. I fully appreciated it. My favorite part of the segment, I actually didn't hate it, mostly because Orange Cassidy just walked up and I was like, "You can tell Jericho that if I lose, I'll pay him back." And Jericho's like, "I'm right here." Like it was actually kind of subtle and
Dude,
funny.
the face he made was great.
Yeah,
Jericho's like
he was
it was
disgusted.
awesome. Yep, that
And
was an
then
okay segment.
Big Bill's hair was beautiful. Can I just say that? Like he got that shit done. It looked amazing. I don't know what he did. Anyway, what happened next?
Let's see. We already talked about the Mariah May match. We got Mercedes Monet. Uh,
CEO, 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 CE. Why is no one chanting it with me? I'm playing the music.
Taz will do it with you.
Oh, he's doing like if you ever start going CEO, Taz just wakes up and starts doing it. He's like, I can't stop, Megan, stop.
Uh, but yeah, she doesn't mention Britt Baker at all. That is kind of worrisome, man. Like, where did she just disappeared again, dude? Like,
I
what
think, I think they're ashamed of that match, and by they I mean AEW,
they should be.
because they're mentioning. I think they're putting all the blame on Britt Baker because everyone's putting the blame on Britt Baker, which that may be the case. I've not seen that much Britt Baker, but like Britt Baker's matches beforehand weren't dog shit. They were good. At least the ones I saw. And like I don't like Monet, but she was having good matches in the lead up. Like she had a really good match with Nyla Rose. Her Sheeta match was fun.
Stephanie
Um,
Vaquer.
yeah, that was a good match. But like for me, the Vacker match back, it was mostly like I liked the other person more. Like I like Willow a lot more than Monet. I liked Vacker a lot more than Monet. And then it was finally getting to the Nyla Rose match where I was like, oh, I like Monet and Nyla Rose. And then the Sheeta match, I like Monet and Sheeta. Um, but I think the only note I had for this was I want her to be signed by WWE so I don't have to watch her every week anymore. Because I'm so tired of these segments where she comes out and delivers a very bad promo. And
Yeah,
like if she was like Danielson level or Osprey level, at least I could be like, whoa, I don't like their wrestling style or oh that match was fantastic, but like she's fine. She's not top of her talent. Like I do not like her.
yeah.
But don't
She's not
worry,
not good.
Camille is banned from ringside. That was the only thing I liked. I liked it when she was shrieking. I believed it. I believed that. But like when the best part of your promo is your reaction to getting foiled, mm,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
good
I I,
point.
I shit on Monet every week, so I'll try to lighten up on it. But God, I do not think she was worth all that Monet.
No, dude, I was so excited when she showed up at Big Business, and then oh, dude, her promos suck. But yeah, basically Sheeta appears on the big screen and uh let's see, she reveals that Camille will be banned from ringside. Uh or Christopher Daniels reveals that. Boy, he was there twice in one night. Wow.
Tony
Uh
Khan, I'm gonna sue you if you make me see Christopher Daniels twice in a night again.
yep. Sheeta says sayonara bitch, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, Sheeta was fine. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I like Sheeta. She's always been great. She was the pandemic women's champion, so she had a lot on her shoulders during that time, but she did the best she could. So,
Sheeta seems to be Tony Khan's. I don't know what to do with the women's division. Put a belt on Sheeta. So what if he's like, okay, Britt Baker, go home. I pay Monet too much to just send her home, but this title run isn't working. We'll just put it on Sheeta.
man, that kind of brings me back to like, should Sheeta be rewarded for hurting Sky Blue?
That was an accident, though.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it could.
know,
Yeah, I mean, I think she was way too low on that, man. Like she messed that up in my mind.
accidents always happen. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, Ridge Holland potentially ended the career of Big E, and he's still in WWE. He's not a world champ,
Hmm.
but he's still in WWE. So
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer on accidents truly do happen, um, and you shouldn't really hold it against that wrestler. Um, unless you're
Yeah.
Bret Hart, he'll always hold it against Goldberg.
Hmm. He sure will. I'm also afraid too with Britt Baker, like they almost have to bring her back as a heel now, right?
I think she could be a face, but I'm sorry, I remembered. There's more news. Did you hear Hulk Hogan's podcast he did with Logan Paul?
With about Bret Hart.
Those are some of the worst takes I've ever seen in my life. He thinks A, Logan Paul will be one of the biggest baby faces in WWE history. False. He thinks that Logan Paul should get involved in the bloodline story and save Roman Reigns. False. Um, he should be world champion this year. That means he should beat Cody or Gunther. Wrong. And you know what else he said? I can't believe it. He said, look at Chris Benoit. People still like his matches, and look at what he did. And it's like the fact that you have to look at Chris Benoit to compare like you and Logan Paul, like that you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be like, hey man, I know I did bad stuff, but people still like the murderers matches. So I should be like, no, no. And then I think he slandered Brett, and I never really gave a shit about Bret Hart, mostly just because I've never seen a match of his. But he was like, ah man, Bret Hart just doesn't like anybody. If he doesn't hate me, he hates Ric Flair. And then he mentioned like some other bad wrestler, and I was like, man, those are all good people to hate. So I'm Team Bret Hart, baby.
Yeah, Hogan said like he hates everybody basically.
Yeah, he
Uh
hates Hogan, which makes sense. He hates Ric Flair, which makes sense, and he hates Goldberg, which, at least in terms of Bret Hart's career, it makes sense. Because I know I just said you shouldn't hold someone's like injuries and accidents against them, but I think with Goldberg, didn't he concuss him like 3 times in the match? Like it wasn't like, oh, I did a belly to back suplex a little bad and unfortunately broke your neck. It was I kicked you in the head as hard as I could 3 times, like to the back of your head. I think I'm with Bret Hart on that, even though I do still kind of like Goldberg. Um, and then you just like Goldberg's been involved in a lot of look at what he did to Undertaker at fucking Crown Jewel 2019. He almost dropped Undertaker on his head and like almost broke his neck
Yeah.
because he was wrestling
Yep.
concussed. It's just, can we talk about Dynamite?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had that fucking Hulk Hogan shit come to my mind, and I was like, I know Hulk Hogan's got bad takes, but those are all horrible takes. Like,
Yeah.
I'm at the point where I don't want to see Logan Paul on TV anymore because of what he's done, let alone babyface or
Hmm.
like saving Roman Reigns. Like, no, that's the worst dog shit opinion anyone could have.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty bad. But yeah, back to Dynamite. We get the Elite backstage. Basically, Jack Perry's whining about uh something about 3 years ago in Chicago was the first time that Bryan Danielson set foot in AEW. He promised himself that one day it'd be his turn to stand in the ring with the American Dragon. Uh, Let me remember this right. It was like Jungle Boy like beat down on the mat when Danielson debuted. Like how I don't understand. Maybe
Because I think what happened, I wasn't like a fan of AEW at the time. I think it was the fallout of Christian versus Kenny Omega, if I'm wrong. And this is before
oh
Christian turned heel. So he was with the Jurassic Express, and so they beat down Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and Christian. And then Adam Cole came out. People were like, "Is he gonna be a good guy? Is he gonna be a bad guy?" And of course, because it's the famous picture of the Young Bucks both kissing Adam Cole because they're like, "Oh, you're back,
mhm.
friend." And then Danielson came out. So I think Jack Perry was like dying in the ring. But I hated this
Yeah,
promo because it's more Jack Perry whining because he's like,
they're
I
stupid.
wanted to have a match with Ryan Danielson before he retired, and then CM Punk choked me out. And I had to go work in Japan and get more knowledge and be a more well-rounded wrestler because there wasn't something working with my package. Like, shut up, bro. God damn. And then like, wham wham. Not everyone gets to wrestle their favorites. Like, it's just like there's so many people that aren't gonna get to wrestle John fucking Cena because he's got 1 year left. We're never gonna see John Cena versus Kenny Omega. That's a tragedy, but no one's crying about it because you just move on. So like, where, cry about it.
Then Matthew Jackson talks about wanting the AEW championship back where it belongs with the Elite. Uh,
That's the
then
only
we
thing I
got
liked about it. Sorry to interrupt. I did like that because he seemed a little sinister, like a little bit, and it was nice to see the Young Bucks be like, "We'll make sure it comes home." And I think if this was like setting up, could you imagine that this was Okada Danielson 3? Right? Could you imagine? And then it's like, oh shit, Okada beat him the last time, but Danielson beat him the first time, and now you have Okada versus Danielson, and the Elite have vowed to be there on Okada's side, and yet like that would be so cool. Well, it's Jack Perry.
yeah, not main eventing, thankfully. Yeah, then we basically just get into that main event trios match that we talked about. Uh, they beat down Danielson and Claudio calls out the Bucks for a tag team championship match. But then we get to the real good part of Dynamite.
Before we
Woo!
go, can I ask one question? Before we get to like the actual really good best segment I've seen probably since I started watching wrestling, and I know I said that about the Ryan May thing, but like, come on, they keep talking about themselves. Why is John Moxley no longer in the BCC?
Yeah, he's not.
Just because
They're just quietly not mentioning why.
he just doesn't care. Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to say was like, why is it Moxley there? Like, I know he's on his own thing, and he's probably gonna be a bad guy. I didn't see his return promo from last week's Dynamite. Was it good or was it like
Yeah, it was basically he said to Tony Khan, it's not your company anymore, hinting at some Shane McMahon shenanigans.
There's no. Shane McMahon is not gonna team up with John Moxley. Come on. That is not no. That is
Hey, they
not
teamed
happening.
together at the Survivor Series.
No. No.
They go way back.
Okay, so the Swerve and Hangman segment was pretty good because it started out with Tony Schiavone in the ring. He's like, "You guys agreed to no contact." Swerve is there. He's like, "Whose house? My house." Wasn't his house much longer.
No. Oh man. Let's see here. We got uh oop, I lost the page that I was on here. Um yeah, we got Hangman Page. Uh let me find where I was again. I dropped my phone. Uh yeah, basically Hangman Page uh walks through Swerve's house, his actual house that he bought. Talks about this is where your mom made supper. I like how he said supper. I love that. This is where your dad sat in his chair and told you to be quiet, and somehow it said his dad didn't love him, and you
Yeah,
start
basically.
hearing like liquid sloshing, and you see the gas can, and the crowd's like, oh, and like he's doing his spiel and talking about how Swerve watched him carry his wife uh while you know to the hospital and whatnot, and the dude makes a trail out into the yard, sits in a chair and lights that sucker on fire. The whole house, boom, dude, it was beautiful. Like Hangman, his delivery of his lines, like they need to get him in some movie. Like
No, because then he wouldn't be on AEW anymore. Come on, don't say that. I need my Hangman. He's so fucking good.
oh my god, it's so good, man. Uh
The thing is Hangman has been cutting these promos like for weeks now, ever since he returned. It's just they've been all on Twitter, so no one's really seen them. But then finally they were like, well, "What if we take these all timer promos and just put them on Dynamite?" And oh yeah, it's an all time segment. And he burned down Swerve's house. It's finally him getting some payback for Swerve, putting some merch on his baby. So I loved this. Hangman Adam Page is on like the run of his life as is Swerve. I think people have been saying this is the modern day Rock in Austin, which is crazy that it's not happening in WWE, but I agree with them. This is like one of the best rivalries in wrestling ever. I think I can go that far and say that. So, man,
yeah, yeah,
I
I
loved
agree.
the this is arson. This is arson. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, but dude, even the way Swerve reacted, like he just looked like he was gutted, dude, on his knees, like oh my gosh, dude. They both delivered that whole thing beautifully. Like this is the best feud I've ever seen. Like
It's
I
pretty
can't
damn
even,
good.
yeah. This is the best freaking, yeah.
After Chad's done winning the G1, he's gonna have to go back and make his top 5 blood feuds part 3, and it'll just be Swerve and Hangman.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh but yeah, it was pretty good Dynamite. That ending really capped it off. Like that was so interesting, and I can't wait for that cage match. Oh my gosh, unsanctioned. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah. It should be a lot of fun, and I'm very looking forward to it. But if we don't have anything else to talk about Dynamite, I say we jump into some Dyna Nitro.
Let's do it.
All right. We got episode 257. This is taking place from Wichita, Kansas, USA. This is August 21st, 2000. They're kind of catching up with us, but they never will. And the first match, I didn't know Lance Storm lost his cruiserweight title, but this is for the WCW cruiserweight title. Elix Skipper. Does that name ring a bell?
Man, it does. Yeah, that is, man, is that our truth?
Is it?
No.
No. He was K Quick, at least in WWE. Hold on, let me look it up. Elix Skipper. Come on, you gotta show me a picture. Anyway, so as I look this up, Elix Skipper defeated Lieutenant Loco. How long was it, Dave?
Um, 213.
Oh, you're so close. It was 208. So the first thing, I wish I could share my screen. The first thing that comes up on Google when I look up Elix Skipper is an eBay page for a horrible looking toy. So
Ah,
I don't think this guy, he wasn't our truth, I'll tell you that, but I don't think he was much. This was a long one.
right?
This is a six-man tag team match. The Natural Born Thrillers, Mark Jindrak, Mike Sanders, and Sean O'Hare defeat the Filthy Animals, Disco Inferno, Juventud Guerrera, and Rey Mysterio Jr. How long did this one go?
Let's see. We're gonna go with 543.
This one was a six-star classic. It went 821.
Ay, ay, ay.
There's another long one too. Uh, so in the middle of the card, WCW World Heavyweight Title match with special referee Ernest Miller. Booker T defeated Chuck
I
Palumbo
cannot
in
hear.
7 minutes and 28 seconds.
Yeah,
Booker T defeated Chuck Palumbo for the WCW World Title in 7 minutes and 28 seconds. Wow, what did Tony Khan book this one?
right?
Uh, Next up, Tank Abbott versus Vampiro ended in a no contest because obviously you can't have one guy go over on that one. That one was 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And then next up was a what the WCW World or WCW Hardcore title match, 2-on-1 handicap. Norman Smiley defeated Chronic. Weren't they booked well at the time?
Yeah, yeah, they were. There must have been some kind of cheating going on.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does not tell me. That one was 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Kevin Nash defeated Big Vito by DQ.
Okay.
Uh, I'm really confused by the next one. It makes no sense. But yeah, it was 4 minutes and 2 seconds. So this is a WCW United States Heavyweight Title tag team match. Tag
Hmm.
team tag team United States title match. What does that mean? Does that mean if Jeff Jarrett won, Lance Storm retained, but if they defeated General Erection and Mike Awesome, so if Mike Awesome won, would he be the United States champion?
Weird.
Because Lance Storm retained, because he's still the champ, and Cage Match is pretty good about saying when a title changed. But yeah, Jeff Jarrett and Lance Storm defeated General Erection and Mike Awesome 3 minutes 42. That was your main event of Nitro number 257.
Weird. Oh, that's so weird. Yeah, I was telling Chad I want to go back and watch there's a channel called Wrestling Bios where it's called like Reliving the War, where he breaks down the Raw and the Nitro. Um and I kind of maybe I should watch that some point before we do our recording so we know a little bit of backstory.
I've seen some of his content. He's pretty good at making videos. They're very well informed.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, they're really good.
other than that, it was a good episode of Dynamite. One of the best segments of all time, easily. At least that I've seen. And then we have All Out the weekend.
Hmm.
Um, okay. All right. So for the AEW World Title, also, if you have not seen our predictions before, we have a 3-point system for each match. You put 2 points on who you think will win and 1 point on who you want to win. So you can split your bet, or you can go all in or all out. Whoa, crazy. For the AEW title, we have the champion Brian Danielson defending against little Jack Perry, Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Who do you got and why, Dave?
I'm all out on Brian Danielson, as in all in.
Yeah, I'm all in on Brian Danielson too. Could you imagine if Brian Danielson's full-time career comes to an end by Jack Perry? I think I told Chad, and we just haven't recorded an episode. If I will say this right now, if Jack Perry beats Brian Danielson at All Out, I will quit this podcast.
Oh my god.
That is a guarantee. If Jack Perry walks out of All Out with the AEW World Title, I will quit this podcast. You
Ooh,
got a lot
okay.
riding on this Tony Khan.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
so I did pull up the card. I'll just go in order of what they have it for the international title. We have Willie Boy Osprey versus the Bastard Pack. Dave, who do you got and why?
All my points on Willie Boy.
I think that's smart. He just got it
Pac
back.
Pac got his big moment at All In.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna split. I think Osprey's gonna win, but I kind of want Pac to win it just because I want the best for Pac, and I'm kind of more interested in an Osprey without his title. But like, I think the most I've liked Osprey since joining AEW was after he lost to Swerve for like a week when he was really humble. And then he got involved with the NJF feud. And he was like, "Bro, I'm gonna beat your ass." So it just kind of all went away. But that,
I
but
I
I
believe.
think,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, you go ahead.
I believe Pac was the inaugural All Atlantic champion.
I think you're right. But let's get it back, baby. I was about to say first ever 2-time, but that was Orange Cassidy. Next up, we have Maxwell. I almost said Matthew. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF versus Danny Garcia. Dave, who do you got and why?
Oh, let's see. I hmm. Man, after that go home math with Danny getting taken out, you'd think he'd get the win. He needs the win, like a big time. Oh, I'm gonna go. I think Garcia, but man, I want Garcia, so I'll have to do all my points.
All on Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I would say not even looking at go home math, just looking at Daniel Garcia's career over the last year, he needs a big win so bad because he lost to Christian at Revolution when I really thought he should have won. He lost to Osprey, and I'm not saying that was a bad call, but that was also a match he needed to win, and he lost.
Hmm.
I know it was MJF's fault, but he really needs a big win, and luckily, unlike all those other wins that he needed, it's not for a title. So, but there's always that 1% chance with MJF. But I'm going all in on Daniel Garcia because I think he'll win, and I desperately want him to win because I love my boy Danny.
Dude, I just
Uh,
thought of an interesting way to maybe change up our point system.
ooh, how so?
3 points for think, 2 points for want, 1 point for who needs to win.
Mm.
For the story or the career or the character as a whole.
Maybe who would need to win for like Osprey and Pac?
Uh,
I guess
yeah,
that could. I guess that's what we could differ on. I don't think Pac needs this win. I just want him to win it.
yeah,
But let's talk about that and maybe see if we'll do it for Wrestle Dream, like where we
yeah.
have a little bit more time to think about the card. I think because I still think we're gonna get like 2 matches, honestly, now at
Hmm.
least 2 or 5. Um, I like that idea. Let's talk it out with Chad when he's done with the G1, and we'll see what
Hmm.
he wants.
Cool.
Um, I think that could work. I think that has grounds. Um, well, and then, so do you get the 1 point if your person wins, or if it's bad booking, could you still say, well, if Danny Garcia loses, he needed to win this, so would you still
And
get the
you
point?
don't then you
You
if you
don't get the
didn't pick
point.
him, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That
let's talk it out with Chad. I think these numbers would get really big because
yeah.
I do all the tallying, and whenever I do it, I have to dedicate a second page, and it's not that hard. I'm not making it sound hard, but basically, I have to like write it all out again. And literally, with All In, it was so close that I recounted it like 10 times because I didn't
Hmm.
believe how close it was. And then one of the times I recounted it, it was like, oh, I messed up. So
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
Let's talk to Chad about it. I'm interested in it, and it could add some depth, but we also don't want to overcomplicate it for
Yeah.
the viewers, the lovely viewers at home. Next up, in a Chicago street fight, not for the CMLL women's title because they would have mentioned that. Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale. Dave, who do you think and why?
Oh man, I haven't had any exposure to this feud since the 0 Hour Stokely and Ishii involvement.
There really should have been a
So
segment on this Dynamite. Like there should have been
yeah,
something.
yeah. I mean, Willow's there, but she's just with the conglomeration.
Yeah, she's like, man, aren't they crazy? Not, I'm in
Yeah.
a street fight with my old best friend who, cheated me and blah blah blah. Like, she's like, man, Mark Briscoe's so kooky.
Yep. Okay, I think Statlander for my two, but I want Willow for my one.
I think that's fair. I think I'm gonna go all in on Chris Statlander because I think she'll win, mostly because it's not for the title, and I do want her to win because it's been surprisingly a lot of Willow for this feud. Like, so Willow beat her in the Owen, which was pretty surprising. She beat her at All In, and then the only time Statlander won was because she won the Eliminator match, but that was
Hmm.
also kind of through vicarious means. So I kind of want Statlander to get a clean win. It'd be heartbreaking, but it kind of needs to happen.
Yeah.
Um, Next up in a
See
match,
that would be a place where I would like to apply the Statlander needs to win this.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Next up is a match that we all need to see. It's for the AEW Tag Team Championships.
Ooh,
The Young Bucks versus the BCC of Claudio and the Great Yuta. I'm just gonna say I'm all in on the Young Bucks because if I have to see Yuta become a two-time champ in AEW, I'm gonna throw up in my mouth.
yeah, I'm
Dave,
all in on the Bucks.
yeah, you gotta. I'm just like the Blackpool Combat Club go out and they have good matches, right? I'm not discounting them, but they're very disinteresting. I don't watch the things I like most in AEW aren't just oh they go out and they have a good match. I like the stories in AEW. I think or AEW can tell really good stories. They just don't do it a lot. Like take even Osprey and Pac. It's a very simple story, but it's very engaging. So even that is a very small feud that was kind of left off the back burner for a bit, but I think it's heated well up in these last 2 weeks. And then especially Swerve and Hangman, that's a great story. So I need something, and I think if Blackpool Combat Club have it, they're just gonna we're gonna have good matches. So and it would make the trios title feel even less important than they already do. Next up is the Continental Championship four-way baby. Now we technically don't know who the other three men are,
But
but
we
if
kind
it's
of
not,
do.
yeah, if it's, I would be shocked if it's not Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Takeshita. So, Dave, who do you want and why?
I think and want Okada only because we're both on the same page on this, I'm sure. I want Takeshita to take it at Wrestle Dream.
Hmm. I'm so torn on this because
It's hard not to, right?
see,
I'm sacrificing my want for Takeshita now for the greater good of later.
here's the one thing I'm gonna say. Right, here's the one thing I'm gonna say. AEW sometimes is not always great about capitalizing on big talent when they're very over. Like look at Daniel Garcia. It took until now for Daniel Garcia to get any push, and he could still not get a push. That's why I look at that Christian Cage TNT title match at Revolution so much because it was like he lost his big match and then disappeared from TV for months, and I don't want that to happen for Takeshita. And I don't have any proof that it won't happen because that always happens with Takeshita, even when it's like he's gonna fight Moxley at Forbidden or Double or Nothing for no reason. He disappeared for months after he lost, so it was like So I think I'm gonna split my votes here. I think Okada's gonna win it, but I want Takeshita to win it only because I don't have faith that we'll get the rematch. I want it to happen. You can argue all day that it makes sense storyline wise. I don't think it will, but I want it.
Yeah.
And then we get Takeshita in the C2. Oh,
Oh,
um,
dude.
but
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm comfortable with that because there's always a chance that Okada just is in a tag team match or something like that, or is challenging for something else. Like that can always happen. So
hmm
I think it'll be a good match though. Um,
yeah.
Okada's
Really good.
fantastic. I like I like the idea. I think they kind of wanted to do like, oh, when people start taking the belts off of the elite, it's going to be a big surge of baby faces. But I like the idea of a lot more like, now they just kind of get separated, and then it's like an empire. How do they fall? By slowly crumbling on like little tiny stabs, death by a thousand cuts. You can kind of think of the elite as an empire. So you have like, oh, Takeshita's the first one to take down Okada. Oh no, and then I don't know. I think Daniel Garcia would be a good pick to take the TNT title off of Jack Perry. Just a good pick. You can have plenty of other good picks. And then you have some tag team beat the Young Bucks. I don't know who.
Grizzled young vets.
Where were they?
Yeah, where are they?
I
That
I've
should have
not.
been the pay-per-view match.
Do you want the Grizzled Young Vets to lose already? Because I don't think the Young Bucks are gonna lose those titles yet.
Yeah, yeah, maybe that is the right booking. They would
Plus,
have to lose.
I've seen some of their promos, and they say
Grit your
great.
teeth.
They say it too much. Stop it.
They do. They
Calm
do.
down. Stop it. Anyways,
That could be Wrestle Dream.
that would be a good Wrestle Dream match. Anyways, next up, I'm surprised she's this low on the card. She should sue Tony Khan. It's the TBS title. Monet versus Hikaru Shida.
All right. I think Monet is gonna win, but I want Sheeta to win.
I am in 100% agreement with you. I don't like Monet's run. Um, I don't think they should have put the TBS title on her. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. I wouldn't mind Sheeta winning it. Sheeta typically seems to get a lot of firsts in AEW for the women's division. She was the first ever three-time women's champion, so give making her the first ever AEW women's champion and TBS champion would be neat. And that's about it. Next up, the last match that AEW has on their little website, Swerve and Hangman in an unsanctioned lights out steel cage Judy Bagwell on a pole match. I'm sorry, it's a
Um,
very, very serious match. It's very comical seeing a lights out unsanctioned steel cage match. Like, it's just a long title, man. Dave, who do you got and why?
Page all the way, baby.
I think I agree with you. See,
So he could get he he's never won, right? Against Swerve?
there's a lot of ways you can look at this. Yes, Hangman Page has never beaten Swerve, but Swerve has never beaten Hangman Page clean.
Clean.
And
Yeah.
that's why I was so into doing the title match at Wrestle Dream, was because Swerve as a babyface finally gets to beat Hangman Adam Page clean as a whistle in the main event in his hometown where this whole thing started. That's not the case, and I'm fine with that. I'm aside from I think we just got to get through this Jack Perry shit, and then we'll have smooth sailing for Brian Danielson after that. Knock on wood. Um, I think there's so many ways you can go with this because it's unsanctioned. It doesn't count. So
Doesn't
maybe
count.
maybe Swerve beats Hangman for the first time, but it doesn't go in the record books. Maybe Hangman on a Page finally gets his win, but it doesn't work. Maybe Hangman Page goes so far and is so brutal. He has that character moment where he's in the ring and he's like, "Is this even worth it? Like, I'm so out of character. I'm beating up poor old Jeff Jarrett. I'm becoming him. Like he could have that come to Jesus moment where he won, but it's not worth it. Is it Swerve is the perennial heel who can like even if he cheats, he'll always beat Hangman? Like I don't know. There's so many ways you can take this. And everything I just said I liked. And the thing is with this Swerve and Hangman feud, they've always surprised me. I didn't think
Yeah.
Swerve would win at Wrestle Dream. I didn't think Swerve would win at Full Gear. I was pretty confident in the time limit draw on the third time, but they did it so well that I didn't really care. Um,
It
so
doesn't matter who wins.
yeah,
It doesn't
I
matter.
I'm more interested in the match and the storyline afterwards. Who wins is kind of inconsequential. But I gotta put something down for our silly video. So
Oh, this
I'm
is
just
gonna
gonna
be a
copy you.
it's gonna be a masterpiece, man.
I'm gonna go all in on Page.
It's gonna be a masterpiece.
I hope so.
Like,
God, I hope so. You have these two men at the primes of their career gonna go main event a pay per view in an unsanctioned you can kill them match. Like they should just like you can bring a gun. I'll allow it. Do we have any other matches we think will be at All Out that will be
Hook,
announced?
Hook Roderick Strong, maybe.
Oh, we'll put that down just in case. Who do you got and why? Hook and Strong.
Hook, all in on him. He's not losing that belt right after he got it back.
I'm gonna go two on Hook, one on Strong. I know that's the wrong
Ooh.
choice. I know that's the wrong choice, but it seems like we were all right in that all Hook did was just go back down the card and he's the FTW title guy and he puts on a hardcore match at the pre-show. So people are like, whoa, they did a tag spot. Crazy. I don't know. I don't care. I would kind of like to see Roderick Strong in a like uh hardcore rules match every week. Wouldn't that be fun? So
Yeah, it would.
and I like Strong again. Maybe like that's his gimmick where he's like, "Oh, it's the FTW title. There's no rules, but I'm gonna win with rules." Like he
Ooh,
imposes that himself. I don't know. I'm just trying to like be different. You know, I don't want to just say all in on Hook because Hook's gonna win. But wouldn't that be neat? I don't
it
know.
would. It would.
Any other matches? I bet you Mariah May will do something on the card, but it's gonna be in the pre-show and it's gonna be a tag team match.
That'd be weird.
That's what's
That'd be
gonna
real
happen.
weird.
That's what's gonna happen.
I
Or she
mean,
just misses the card completely.
they've only got a collision to build up to that. One
Hey, they do
collision.
have a Rampage.
They are doing it's technically a 3-hour collision because it's Rampage live right after collision tomorrow night on Friday.
You think they'll do Jamie Hayter and Saraya at the All Out pre-show?
Man, that
Or are they gonna hold
could
that off?
work. That could work, but they should probably hold off on that. I don't think we
I
need to
mean,
get Jamie Hayter right off the bat. I think
Jamie Hayter was good on the show.
Wrestle Dream, we're gonna get a fucking banger Jamie Hayter match.
I hope. Um.
We've got Arthur Ashe coming up in between there too.
Oh yeah, that would be a great Arthur Ashe match. Never mind. I think that's gonna be at Arthur Ashe. I think that's it. I'm sure there's stuff we're not thinking of, but like
Yeah,
the
all the titles are accounted for.
except for the women's, but
Yeah,
maybe she's just got
yeah.
a week off. What if on Collision, Tony Storm comes back and is like, "I want my rematch," and we're like, "The 1 week we didn't watch Collision."
I'm gonna watch it.
Oh,
Pretty
I'll at
sure.
least watch the Takeshita Mordos match. I don't know about the rest of it, but I'm at least watching that match.
Yeah, I kind of want to know what happens
Oh,
leading
you
up
know what I was
to.
literally thinking? Sorry to interrupt. They cut that. We totally forgot about the Deonna Purrazzo video package, by the way. Um, it was
Yeah,
fine. That's my review of it. It was fine. But I was like, why is it Deonna Purrazzo wrestling Mariah May at the pay per view? Wouldn't that be fun? But then they
I
said Deonna
forgot her
Purrazzo.
match already. Who is it
Didn't
against?
have oh, it's Sheeta on Collision.
Okay,
So
and you
Sheeta
know
gets a
who's?
win for the pay per view. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's what killed that. Is I was like, well, they're not gonna have. Hey, you just lost on Collision. Good luck on your women's title match on the pay per view. Like they're not gonna do that.
nope.
Um. Yeah. Well, I am still looking forward to the show. I might have been negative, but there will be plenty of good things on the show. I'm confident in Osprey and Pac, MJF and Garcia, Chris Statlander and Willow, the Continental Four Way, Swerve and Hangman, obviously.
Yep.
And I think
Mo-
the AEW title match will be a good match. I just won't care about it.
Yeah. Leafs into Monet, followed by the Young Bucks match.
Because those didn't have any build. Like, especially the tag title match. Claudio's just like, how about we have a match on the pay per view?
Yep.
And the Young Bucks go, okay.
Yeah, that was it, man. They should have been like, no.
And then Tony Khan, Christopher Daniels makes it official. We got to see him a third time.
Yep, yep.
If only.
Ooh. Adam Pierce. I mean, Christopher Daniels.
Hey, Adam Pierce at least has a catchphrase. Every
Yeah.
time like something wacky happens, he goes, "Ugh, I need a drink."
Really?
It's something.
I love it. That's great. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view. Absolutely. We'll have to get Chad's input on this before we finalize everything. And
Do we have any prop bets? Forgot
yeah,
about that.
I do. So there's no Camille. Will someone else reveal themselves as a part of the moneymaker booty shakers?
So I just put. I'm writing that down as MM assistants. Um, are you saying yes on that?
Yeah, that's a perfect opportunity. Probably, I'm not. We don't have to get who it is right, but I'm just gonna speculate. Robin Renegade.
Queen Almanada.
Yeah, yeah, that's
That's
some
an
good.
I didn't think about that. That's interesting.
Perfect
Um,
opportunity because Camille isn't allowed, but
you know what would be a kind of funny thing? Like kind of funny. What if it's Britt Baker and they get ahead of all that controversy and she just like is humble and she's like, "Yeah, I lost it all in. It wasn't my best performance, so I gave in. I'm working with Monet now." because she was right or some bull crap like that, I'm saying yes.
That was
Maybe
brought
it's
up
just
on
because
Steven Larson.
really, I don't watch those guys. That's funny. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna go with yes, mostly just because I think there's something fun you can pull out of that. Maybe
Hmm.
pick a Ring of Honor girl, bring Athena.
Ugh.
Athena doing something on AEW television? No way.
Sweet. Yeah. Okay. Fuck. That's who I want. But yes, my prop bet is a big yes on that.
Okay,
Let's see.
I just had
Um.
one. Will Christian Cage cash in?
Ooh. Uh. I think he'll do that at Arthur Ashe to
See,
Darby.
here's the thing I want. I want Christian to win his cash in. However, I don't want Danielson to end his reign. Like, I know
No.
I wanted Swerve to retain, but we're past that. We're in the Danielson reign, so I want it to be a nice and healthy one. I want Christian to hold that thing for so long that we all forget about it. And maybe we'll go on Dynamite and be like, man, remember when Christian had his world title win and everyone forgot about it? We can laugh and giggle, but they're playing us. So, right when we like a year from now, we forget about it. Danielson celebrates for a year, and then Christian kills him and wins. That's what I would want. So, I'm going to say no. Well, I'm going to say no. Are you saying no?
I'm saying no.
Because I've seen people say it will happen, but they want Danielson to beat him, and I think I'd rather have that than ending Danielson's reign after 2 weeks. But I just don't want him to do it. I want him to hold it for so long that we forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Me
I
too.
mostly just because I want him to win it.
To where when he comes out to cash it in, we're like, what is he doing?
Mm-hmm.
Why
What,
is
what
he out
why is
here?
or we just have that? Oh fuck! Like we're like, he won. We forgot about that guy and he won. Or Adam Copeland gets back and he wins the title and then he comes out. Come on, there's so no cash in.
I've got my old faithful former WWE star debuting.
So aside from the Adam Cole, Danielson, triple double power, whatever, have there been any other big debuts at All Out?
Not at all out.
So
Not that I
I
can
was
remember.
I was kind of thinking maybe it could be a somewhat of a tradition, but if it's only happened once, that's not much of a tradition.
No.
Um, and it could be like Dijak, could be Bobby
Shane
Lashley,
McMahon,
could be Shane McMahon.
Goldberg.
Um, are you a yeser or a knower?
I'm just gonna keep it spicy and do yes.
I'm gonna say no. I have a lot of risky bets. But I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no because I don't. He just had Ricochet. By the way, I completely forgot Ricochet signed with AEW because
Dude,
I
his
didn't
match
watch.
against Fletcher was great. So
I
good.
I didn't watch last week's Dynamite, and then they showed him. I was like, wait, why are they showing Ricochet? Oh yeah, he signed with the company. That's how
Oh
little
yeah.
I think about Ricochet. I'm sorry, I do not care about that man.
He's gonna do
Um,
well in AEW.
will Ricochet have a match? Ooh, that's a prop bet.
Ooh. I don't think he'll have a match, but he may like come. Oh, well, he might come to the aid of Osprey in some way, but
I'm,
that
I'm just
would.
I'm just gonna write Ricochet. Like, will he be on the show? Yes or no? Are you saying yes?
No,
You're saying no.
because in order for him to appear, so last week on Dynamite, Osprey was on the ramp congratulating Ricochet after his win over Fletcher. Pac comes out of nowhere and gives him a poison Rana on the freaking hard stage. And
Jesus
Ricochet
Christ.
comes down and like checks on Osprey and like holds him kind of, that would be the only reason why he would appear in my mind, and that would mean that Pac would either have to win or lose and then do something really messed up to Osprey. So there's a lot of reasons why he would have to appear. So
Here's what I'll pitch, and I'm stealing this from Cultaholic, 100%. But you have Pac and Osprey. Osprey barely beats Pac. It's a barn burner, and then Pac either just leaves or he beats up Osprey, and Ricochet comes out to help him. And they're like shaking hands, they're hugging, they're kissing, and then Ricochet turns on Osprey.
ooh, then we get Osprey, Ricochet, Wrestle Dream.
The only issue with that is that Ricochet's moveset is way too flippy to be a heel. Way too flippy. Because his entire run in WWE was a babyface. And if they turn him heel, they'll have to put a mic in his hands. And he's a lot like Monet, where he's a great performer in the ring, but on the mic, he stinks. I don't
Okay.
know. That's about it. Any other prop bets?
Yeah. Will we get any returning AEW stars from injury? We've got Hobbs could be back. We've got Julia Hart. We've got Adam Cole. We've got Trent. We've
Trent?
got, yeah.
Oh, Beretta. Oh, I completely forgot about that guy. Are you saying yes, I imagine then?
Yeah, we're gonna have at least one returning injured
I'm gonna
star.
say I'm gonna say no, just because the only one I could see would be Adam Cole to MJF, but maybe Adam Cole actually, because if Daniel Garcia just wins, what does MJF do next? Oh, Adam Cole's back. Let's do that MJF Adam Cole rivalry.
That'd be a great full circle to where Adam Cole debuted it all out.
Mm-hmm.
He can
And
return
you
it
could
all
say
out.
last year, what did they do? They beat the Dark Order for the Ring of Honor tag team titles, or not? They retained them, but still, they beat the Dark Order in a tag team match, and that was like their only successful defense. So
Yep. Ah, I'm going yes, and that's really all the prop bets I have.
I think 5 is still healthy. So we got our typical ones, and then some interesting ones with well, Mariah may have. I wrote MM, but in my notes, I typically just shorten both Mariah May and Mercedes Moné as MM. And because I know what my notes are chronological order, I never get confused. God forbid they ever wrestle. Um, and
Yeah.
so I'm just like, oh, will Mariah May get any assistance? No, it's Monet. Fuck. Will Monet get any assistance? That's a fun one. And then will Ricochet be there? That's a fun one. Yeah. So make sure to check out All Out. I'm sure it'll be a good show. Make sure to check out our predictions for All Out. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, just everyone out there, don't forget to elbow drop that like button, power bomb that subscribe button, and leave a comment.
Let
Let
us
us know
know.
what you think.
Blab, let us know. And Dave, I've been hearing these crazy things in my headphones. Something must have been off with the recording. Maybe they're coming from the audio realm. Now, if you're tired of seeing our faces, which how dare you? We're beautiful. But if you're tired of it somehow, you can always listen to us on a podcast or just audio version only. According to Chad, which I trust that guy, we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Pandora, potentially, Podbean, and anywhere else you might find it. And if you don't find them, let us know. And you want us to be on SoundCloud, we'll get to SoundCloud, baby. You want a visual or audio version only on YouTube? You got us, baby. I actually have, because I'll like listen to a podcast and like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and one of our podcasts will be playing. And I'll be like, perfect. And I'll just go back to bed. So, like, hey, if you fall asleep to us, we're getting those views, baby. That's YouTube. So make sure to check us out.
Yeah, and our next upload is going to be a review of WrestleMania 18, The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Woo! What a match.
And we have a no, that's the Dominic Dijakovic and Keith Lee one where you had the special guest, right?
Yep, we'll have that one dropping too. Special guest, our buddy Brandon.
And then we'll
Uh,
have the All Out review coming out around Tuesday or so.
mhm, Yeah.
And then we get a break. For the love of God, we get a break from these pay-per-views.
Yep. 1 month.
And then we should like just review Bad Blood and Wrestle Dream at the same time.
Yeah. Uh, the funny part about Wrestle Dream is we'll watch it live, but then we'll have to watch it again and take notes.
It'll be like it could be like when I watched back when we went to the Moda Center for Dynamite and I was like, "Hey, I'm on there twice. They showed me twice."
Yep. Are you gonna wear your suit?
Probably. It's going to be a million degrees, but that's why it's funny. You get to see me sweating.
Yep. Yeah, we've got okay seats. Should be freaking awesome. I can't wait. Are you staying in Tacoma, or you said no? You're going.
I'm driving up and driving back, baby. I don't got money for a hotel.
You can. But yeah, we'll have our all out predictions coming out, or not predictions, the review of All Out, and yeah, then we'll have a Dynamite review after that. And me and Chad forgot which retro view you wanted to do. It was Gunther, Sheamus,
And Drew McIntyre at
Drew
WrestleMania
Mac.
39.
Okay, I can remember that. We're like, man, we're gonna have to ask him. We forgot.
Oh, I don't
uh,
think I'll be able to record the next Monday. You know why? I'm going to Raw, and it's in Portland on
oh,
the 2nd. Yeah.
awesome, cool. Well,
So
you then the next one you can give us a
we
little.
could probably do it on Tuesday that week.
Yeah, let's do it. But cool. Yeah, that just about does it. It's a pretty long episode tonight, but yeah, I think we've talked about all we could talk about,
Yeah.
and I guess I'm gonna do the thing.
Do the thing. Do the
Do
thing.
the thing. Do the thing. I'm doing the thing. Bye.
Peace and bye bye.